The film begins by depicting the life of a broken family plagued by numerous problems. Kathy, a mother who has long been divorced from her husband, lives with her daughter, Lizzy. Their divorce occurred because Kathy's husband could no longer tolerate her behavior. She was an alcoholic. In addition to her alcohol addiction, Kathy also smoked and often displayed abusive behavior toward her daughter. Her unstable demeanor only worsened their relationship. Frequently intoxicated, Kathy not only neglected her responsibilities as a mother, but also tended to harm Lizzy both physically and emotionally. Although Lizzy was deeply hurt and sometimes resented her mother, she still loved her in the way any child would love their parent. Lizzy often felt lonely and neglected, especially during important moments in her life, such as school performances. However, Kathy would always dismiss these events as unimportant, preferring instead to spend her time drinking. Even after her divorce, Kathy entered a romantic relationship with a man named Roy, who also had destructive habits. Roy was an alcoholic, a smoker, and often aggressive. With their similar personalities, Roy and Kathy frequently mistreated Lizzy. Lizzy had tried to stop her mother's destructive habits by throwing away all the alcohol in the house. However, her actions only made things worse. Kathy and Roy were furious, and once again Lizzy became the target of their anger. There were times when Lizzy was so frightened that she had to hide under the bed, trying to escape their abuse. Despite living in constant fear, for reasons she couldn't explain, Lizzy was never able to fully hate her mother. Deep down, she still loved her, even though Kathy's behavior was truly unacceptable. Behind all the cruelty and harshness, Kathy actually did have a deep affection for Lizzy. This became evident one night when Lizzy, scared and hiding under the bed after being hit again, fell asleep. Kathy came in and gently stroked Lizzy's head. In that quiet moment, Kathy realized her daughter must hate her for the way she had treated her. In her heart, Kathy silently apologized for failing to be a good mother. After years of living in fear and suffering, Lizzy, exhausted by her mother's endless cycle of violence and alcohol, firmly declared that she wanted to live permanently with her father. Lizzy asked Kathy to take her to her father's house, even though it was a long and difficult journey. Although Kathy had never been a good mother, she agreed to Lizzy's request. Deep down, Kathy desperately wanted to change, to become a better mother. She resolved to try and overcome her bad habits so that Lizzy wouldn't end up hating her even more. After packing up all their belongings, Kathy and Lizzy hurried off to Lizzy's father's house. The journey ahead of them would take quite a long time. Along the way, Kathy occasionally stopped at convenience stores or gas stations to buy food and cigarettes. Her smoking habit, which she couldn't give up, led her to stand by the side of the road, exhaling smoke while reflecting on the choices she had made in her life. Meanwhile, Lizzy sat quietly inside the car, watching her mother from a distance. Before their separation, knowing they might rarely see each other again, Kathy gave Lizzy a gift. A wristwatch, something to remember her by. They continued their journey, and before they knew it, night had fallen. A heavy rainstorm began, making it difficult for Kathy to see the road clearly. Suddenly, in the middle of the downpour, a wolf darted across the road in front of their car. Kathy didn't have time to swerve, and she ended up hitting the animal. The collision not only killed the wolf, but also badly damaged the car, particularly the tires, leaving the vehicle immobile.
Oh, God! I'm bleeding. Are you okay? Look at me!
The accident also left Kathy injured, with wounds to her forehead and a sprained wrist. Despite the pain, Kathy tried to remain calm so as not to frighten Lizzy. Realizing they were in the middle of a quiet forest, far from passing vehicles, Kathy decided to call the police for help. She asked Lizzy to retrieve her phone from her bag since her hand was still in pain. Lizzy quickly got the phone and informed the authorities of their location. The police assured them that an ambulance and a tow truck would be dispatched right away. With no other option, they had to wait for help to arrive, hoping the rain would stop soon. While waiting, They occasionally glanced at the wolf that had been killed in the accident. Lizzy felt a deep unease at the sight of the animal's mangled body. Because the door on Kathy's side of the car wouldn't open due to the crash, they both exited through Lizzy's door. As the rain began to ease, they dared to approach the wolf's body to confirm whether it was truly dead. To their shock, they discovered large wounds on the animal, wounds that looked like bite marks. They found a sharp fang, still embedded in the wolf's flesh, clearly not its own, suggesting that before the accident, the wolf had been fighting something even more ferocious. Not wanting Lizzy to worry any further, Kathy asked her to call her father and ask him to come pick her up at the crash site. At first, Lizzy's father was furious upon hearing they'd been in an accident. He immediately accused Kathy of driving under the influence again. However, Lizzy firmly defended her mother, insisting that this time Kathy had not been drunk when the accident happened. After the call ended, the rain started pouring again, forcing them to take shelter back inside the car while they waited for help. After what felt like a long wait, a tow truck finally arrived at the scene. A man named Jesse, assigned to retrieve their car, stepped out wearing a thick raincoat. He approached Kathy's car, knocked on the window, and asked if they were okay. Jesse wanted to make sure that neither Kathy nor Lizzy had serious injuries needing immediate attention. He then informed them that the ambulance would be delayed due to poor road access and worsening weather conditions. After ensuring they were safe, Jesse began transferring Kathy and Lizzy's belongings from their damaged car to the tow truck.
Nobody much takes this road anymore. Gone.
But then something strange happened. Lizzy looked toward the road where the wolf's body had been lying. She suddenly realized the carcass was gone. Panicked, Lizzy told Kathy what she had seen. Kathy tried to stay calm and think positively, suggesting that maybe the wolf hadn't died after all and had managed to crawl off somewhere to die in peace. The relentless downpour made Kathy start thinking of ways to get them out of the forest as soon as possible. She suggested to Jesse that he tow their car while they remained inside to avoid getting soaked. However, a new problem arose when Jesse discovered damage to the drive shaft that made towing impossible. A metal component was obstructing the wheel's movement, and it had to be fixed before the car could be moved. Jesse unloaded all his tools from the tow truck and began working on the repair under the pouring rain.
Dogs don't got teeth like this.
I'll be out in a minute.
Meanwhile, inside the car, Kathy realized she needed to contact Lizzy's father to update him on their condition, so he wouldn't worry. But then she remembered that her phone was still inside the bag now stored in Jesse's tow truck. Kathy asked Lizzy to retrieve the phone from the bag. Despite the heavy rain, Lizzy agreed and approached Jesse, who was busy working underneath the car. She asked Jesse to get her mother's bag from the tow truck. Since he was lying on the ground and his hands were full of tools, Jesse asked Lizzy to get it herself. Carefully, Lizzy walked toward the tow truck, through the downpour. But when she got there, she found the door was locked. She had no choice but to return and ask Jesse for the key. Still under the car and struggling to reach into his pocket, Jesse told Lizzy to wait a moment. While waiting, Lizzy stood near the car and looked around. Curiosity began to grow in her mind, especially about the wolf's carcass that had mysteriously vanished earlier. Driven by this curiosity, Lizzy decided to search for it. Eventually, she found the wolf's body deeper in the forest, in a much more gruesome condition than before. The animal's body was torn apart, as if it had just been devoured by something far more savage. Unaware of the danger, Lizzy didn't notice the presence of a large creature looming silently behind her.
Oh, shit.
Still oblivious, Lizzy decided to head back to the car as the rain intensified.
I found it.
Found what?
Meanwhile, Jesse, still working under Kathy's car, suddenly heard a strange noise coming from within the forest. Curious and slightly alarmed, Jesse got up and decided to investigate the sound. Jesse's arm was severed in a brutal attack by the creature in the forest, right in front of Kathy and Lizzy, who watched in horror. Lizzy, terrified and in shock, was comforted by Kathy, who tried to assure her that everything would be okay. Now, all they could do was wait for the ambulance to arrive. As they embraced each other, they suddenly saw Jesse crawling out from the forest. Despite losing a massive amount of blood from his severed arm, he was desperately trying to reach his tow truck to call for backup. Kathy and Lizzy remained frozen inside the car, unsure of what kind of creature could inflict such a wound. At first, Kathy wanted to get out and help Jesse, fearing he might die, but Lizzy begged her not to, afraid that her mother would get hurt too. Just as Jesse managed to open the door of his tow truck, the creature struck again, this time killing him on the spot.
Turn around!
Terrified, Kathy and Lizzy were forced to hide inside the car, doing everything they could to stay quiet and avoid drawing the creature's attention.
What was that?
But unexpectedly, Lizzie's toy doll suddenly made a noise, triggering the creature's rage. It stormed toward the car and smashed through the window, managing to grab Kathy and drag her out. Lizzy, still inside the car, could do nothing but cry in fear, unable to help her mother. Just as Kathy was on the brink of losing consciousness from the creature's savage attack, the sound of approaching ambulance sirens echoed through the forest. The sirens startled the monster, causing it to retreat into the woods. Seizing the opportunity, Lizzy climbed out of the car and rushed to her mother's side. Though Kathy's injuries weren't as severe as Jesse's, she was still badly hurt. Two paramedics, John and Leslie, arrived just in time to examine Kathy and treat her wounds.
Soon, okay?
All right, we're good to go.
I'm sorry.
My name is John. We're here to help you.
Sorry.
As they prepared to transport her to the hospital, the monster suddenly returned and attacked John, killing him instantly. Leslie was the next victim, falling prey to the creature's violent assault. While the monster was distracted with Leslie's body, Kathy saw her chance. She crawled into the ambulance, took the driver's seat, and slammed on the gas pedal. The ambulance sped off, tearing through the forest road. But the creature wasn't about to let them escape. With incredible speed, it chased after the ambulance, managing to catch up and causing the vehicle to swerve dangerously. Fortunately, the accident they had just experienced didn't cause any further injuries. Seeing her daughter hurt, Kathy felt deeply worried and looked at Lizzy with fear in her eyes.
Go. Get back, get away. Are you okay? Oh my God.
Not wanting their lives to end there, Kathy tried using the ambulance radio in hopes of calling for help, but her efforts were in vain because the device was broken. As the monster drew closer, Kathy felt helpless, with no way out of the situation. In desperation, she grabbed a flashlight she found inside the ambulance and pointed it toward the monster. To her surprise, the creature recoiled. The light seemed to be its weakness. Kathy quickly realized this and came up with a plan where she would distract the monster using a torch, while Lizzy was instructed to run and seek help.
I got a plan. I need you to be braver. It will be afraid.
Before carrying out the plan, there was something very important she needed to tell Lizzy. Kathy looked into her daughter's eyes and said that despite all the mistakes and shortcomings she had made, she truly loved and cared for her daughter more than anything in the world. At first, Lizzy refused the plan, unable to accept the painful truth that her mother would have to sacrifice herself. Of course, Lizzy didn't want to lose her mom just like that. However, with firm conviction and determination, Kathy explained that this was the only way Lizzy could survive. Kathy was ready to face whatever risk might come, even if it meant sacrificing her own life for her daughter's safety. She wanted to make up for all the wrongs she had done to Lizzy during her lifetime. Kathy began provoking the monster by shouting, creating noise to draw its attention.
As fast as you can.
Are you scared? I'm here!
While continuously distracting the monster, she gave a signal to Lizzy to leave the place immediately and look for help.
Lizzy! You do what I say!
Thinking Lizzy had escaped, Kathy decided to turn off the torch she had been using to keep the monster at bay. But unexpectedly, Lizzy, who couldn't bring herself to leave her mother, disobeyed the instruction and instead returned to help her mother, who was being attacked by the monster. Using the flashlight, Lizzy managed to scare the monster away. Sadly, it was already too late. Kathy had died.
Mommy! Don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go! Mommy, please get up! I want you to do so bad! Don't go, don't go, don't go! Please!
Now Lizzy was left alone, unsure whether she would survive the danger that still loomed. Though uncertain about her chances of staying alive, Lizzy was determined to defeat the creature that had taken the life of the person she loved most. First, she took her mother's lighter, the one her mom often used to smoke, and grabbed a can of flammable spray. She began crafting a plan to fight the monster with fire, hoping it could be the key to defeating it. To lure the monster in, Lizzy knew exactly what to do. She picked up her beloved toy and pressed the button so it would make a loud enough sound to attract the creature's attention. When the monster became distracted by the toy's sound, Lizzy knew this was her chance. She stepped out of hiding, sprayed the flammable liquid toward the monster, and instantly lit it with the lighter. After the monster was successfully defeated, Lizzy began walking out of the forest, carrying with her a deep sadness over the loss of her mother, knowing that there was nothing she could do to bring her back. And thus, the story ends.